Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Shh. Shh. It's okay. It's quite all right. I felt like I had extra breath in my lungs, and I needed to expend it. It needed to be expended at all costs, Wolfie. At all costs. But yeah, welcome back to Farlands or Bust, episode 691 for your Wednesday. I'm recording this on Tuesday, but for your Wednesday, June 6th, 2018. Recording this in private. Just you and I. Not in front of stream or anything like that. Getting a recording in. Episode 691, Farlands or Bust. Here, Minecraft Beta 173 is the version we're playing. Seeing a lot of YouTube comments about people rediscovering or discovering the Farlands or Bust series. A lot of people are like, oh, you're still going? Oh, this guy's still going? I don't know what that has to do with. I'm about 900% positive that's not possible. Sure it is. Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. 901% possible that my videos, particularly these non-monetized Farlands or Bust versions, don't show up in, like, YouTube's recommended feed, of all places. Oh, you're dead. Oh. I was gonna try to shear that sheep, but instead I punched it, and then Wolfie annihilated it. I think I have enough wool, though. I don't know about that. But yeah, welcome back, you random viewers. We are indeed playing in Minecraft Beta 173. We do indeed not have a hunger bar, or sprinting, or shields, or any such thing as this. And, yeah, there we go. And yeah, we've been doing this for 7+ years, 7.5-ish years almost. And we must be more than a quarter of the way there. But I don't press F3 to find out until we raise our charity milestone goal, which is $50,000 for direct relief this season. Unfortunately, as I have just discovered, since the number is the same as the last episode, we're up to $16,042.50. Appears to be a problem, an unfortunate problem with the donation processing system there over at Tiltify. So I have sent a pigeon with a message. No, I've sent a support ticket to the people at Tiltify to say, what's up? Because I even myself tried to donate, and it seems like it's going to work, but then you get to the PayPal and say donate or contribute or send funds, and then it fails. It says this failed. We apologize for the inconvenience. Donation canceled. And that seems to be happening to everybody. Unfortunately, didn't realize that until it had been a few days. And yeah, I appreciate your patience with that. Feel free to hopefully it'll be fixed by the next time you try to donate. Farlandsorbust.com is where you can learn more about that and see the tracker and donate if you'd like. And we'll continue to raise money for that great cause. When we raise $25,000 is when I said I will build the Lego Saturn V. I've got it sitting right there in my wish list on Amazon. It's ready. It's ready to go. Ready to be purchased. Whew, Lego. The last time I built a Lego was the space shuttle, which was a few years ago. I was still living in Illinois. That was 2 time zones ago. Indeed. I mentioned in the last episode, Simone Yetch. That's how you pronounce it, I think. I'm not gonna say it another way because it'll just be even wronger. Had brain surgery to remove a brain tumor. I've been keeping up, and it seems as though everything has gone fine. She's got a gnarly scar on her head, but maintained eyesight in both of her eyes, and it seems like The worst fears have passed, and it's just recovery time. So that's good news. That's good news. A little bit of a follow-up on that story. And we had a bunch of people in the comments and on Twitch explaining the various ins and outs of healthcare and the expenses of MRIs. One very helpful person said that they get, or they have gotten, or you can get, or their friend got, MRI scans through universities doing studies. Like they need a sampling of scans, so they look for volunteers. And as part of the agreement, sure, you get your MRI scanned and, you know, added to the study or the collective group of information and data. But if they do find anything wrong in that scan, they'll be sure to let you know. Oh, they'll let you know if you've got some sort of walnut grown on the inside there. The old walnut. So that's something worth looking into if you're moderately paranoid about your brain or the insides of your body. I kind of am. I might look into stuff like that. That would be interesting. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's claustrophobic and terrifying. I don't know if I would be too worried about that side of it. Of course, I've never been in a hospital, full stop. I've never, well, I take that back. I've been in a hospital. My mom works in a hospital, but I've not myself been a patient in a hospital. And I've not been in a scanner thingy like that either, and everybody says it's always claustrophobic and loud. You gotta hold still. But I don't know. I don't know that I would have a problem with that. I think I'm all right in uncomfortable areas. But I could be wrong. But yeah, I've always, even when I would have like the things like the frequent sleep paralysis or Alice in Wonderland syndrome, or even simply deja vu. Well, whenever you look up any sort of physical ailment on the internet, it always turns out to be cancer or a brain tumor, doesn't it? But deja vu is apparently like frequent deja vu. I would get it to the point, it's been a while. It's been, or has it? That's the nature of deja vu. Perhaps it's already happened in a while. Deja vu, that sensation of deja vu, and I would also get like tunnel vision and kind of dizzy and sick and weird dizzy spells, is apparently could be associated with seizures and other brain ailments, but it's associated with epileptic seizures and there's similar brain patterns. It doesn't mean like if you ever feel deja vu, that means you have epilepsy. But I don't know. I felt like I got them. I have an axe. Why am I not doing this with an axe? Pretty frequent back in the day. And maybe it was like dietary stuff, because back in the day I wasn't gluten-free and I wasn't getting all the nutrition necessary because my insides were all tore up and scarred up from the gluten allergy. And that's maybe why I don't feel it as much as often. I don't get that much as often. But anyway, that sort of thing like freaked me out at the time. I'm like, oh, how do you test for that? How do you careful, Wolfie. How do you make sure that's the thing? And then I never saw a doctor about it because I never go to doctors. Oh, good times. Right, kids? Good times. Oh, boy. So there we go. We, myself and Wolfie, appreciate the discussion and also other such things as these. Unfortunately, I don't have too many questions here. Because the donations haven't been working, I haven't been getting any questions in, but I got a few. We can answer. And actually, I just mentioned the topic of one previously. Here from Dravir, how much dust is on your Lego space shuttle? if it is dust-free. Please explain this miracle. I think it's pretty dust-free. I honestly think it's pretty dust-free. It's up on the top of my tall shelf here, so it's pretty much out of the way. I've found here in the place I'm living in, the home I'm living in here in Washington, dust buildup isn't so bad because it doesn't have a central nervous system. No, a central heating or air HVAC system. There's no air being blown and circulated throughout. So I think that's maybe a reason why I don't have as... There's dust. And of course, now that I've... Careful, how did you... I've adopted Juno. There's now dog hair. But yeah, there's not that much dust. Certainly not as much as I've experienced in the past in the houses I've lived in with central air and central heat. Let's go to sleep before Wolfie hurts himself even more. And a dustness. Woof. Like, you'd think it would be the opposite. Like, without central air and without a central, air filter, that there would be more dust. But I think it happens to be... What am I trying to do? I'm trying to feed Wolfie. Bloop. Ah, I don't know if you got that. Yeah, you did. Your tail's up higher. Okay. Whoop, that's east. So yeah, it's pretty dust-free. It's also in launch configuration. I suppose it would collect more dust if it was in landed airplane configuration. So it's in launch configuration. The nose and nozzles are pointed skyward, so I don't think there are as many horizontal surfaces for dust upon which to settle. But yeah, it's pretty dust-free. It's also like been packed away and moved multiple times. But yeah, I don't know. I'll have to go up there and actually look. But yeah, pretty dust-free. Speaking of dust, you ever get on these just like cleaning tears? There's an Onion article, not really an article, but an Onion like headline that's a joke that's like, area man riding out this urge to clean as long as it lasts. Because apparently it's a common thing to just like, because I needed to clean my toilets, as you do every so often. So I got out the Comet and the brush and the bucket and some rags, did the toilets, and then I'm like, well, while I'm here, that's like the only thing. I'm like, let's just do the toilets, just so we don't lose an entire day to cleaning. But then I'm like, well, while I got this stuff out, I decided to clean the entirety of the kitchen countertops and surfaces and stovetop. It just happened. I slipped and fell, and accidentally I'm cleaning the entire kitchen and the top of the refrigerator, where there's dust that accumulates and stuff like that. It's really weird. And then before I knew it, I'd spent 2 hours cleaning. It's spick and span now. It's the cleanest it's been since I moved in. But yeah, it's weird how that sort of stuff snowballs. But then I'll go for like 2 months without picking up a rag, and then things do get dusty and dirty, or the bathroom mirrors get all drippy and spitty. That's right, I spit directly on the mirror. Sometimes I confuse the sink in the reflection for the sink I'm actually using. I don't have that depth perception that most of you are blessed with. No, but that's, yeah, just speaking of cleaning, that always happens to me. It's a weird, just like even I just talked about earlier, how I decided to give my Subaru its yearly clean, and then that snowballed into, well, might as well vacuum the interior. Well, might as well clean all the windows and apply a new coat of Rain-X. Well, might as well install the roof rack and the roof rails that have been sitting around I've not been using in a while, even though I was going to wait to do something else to the Subaru before I did that. And then I had a sunburn, because I've been outside for 7 hours. Oh, man. Humans are weird. Speaking of weird humans, Dravir had a second question. Woo! Oh, I thought that was going to be some damage there. When did you last join a Mindcrack meeting? Are they still so very much exciting? I don't know where you get your information, Dravir. but there've not been Mindcrack meetings since well before I moved here, and even while I was living in Arizona, I don't even think there were any. The Mindcrack group has evolved. It didn't even have meetings for like the 24-hour marathon. The vast majority of it is definitely due to the death of Skype. We used to just organize everything via a big Mindcrack Skype group that may or may not have gotten hacked at various times in the past. You know, in the way that Skype was a wonderful business application and easily hackable. So yeah, and the transition from Skype to Discord was a turbulent one because not everybody liked Discord or adapted to it, and then people started using other things, or they kept using Skype or other applications, and not everybody, you know. So I don't think, because there's no more central group place for us to exist and plan things, that then it doesn't happen. Also, I think it's good that things have evolved. A few people, Good, Sevidus, Chad, etc. Gisano, Brion has even helped out, even though I know he's not technically in Mindcrack, to like be the ones who plan things, such as the charity events. They have all, you know, there's no sense in trying to come to a consensus and have a big group meeting about a decision to make when only one person or three people are actually in contact, say, with Microsoft or Extra Life or whatever. It just slows things down. And I think we realize that even without saying it, that a group, and certainly there was a tipping point of the size of Mindcrack, a group just kind of needs leaders, organizers, and then it needs members. And I'm perfectly happy being a member, because I don't involve myself. I don't have any sort of skills or want to be an organizer of events, a planner of schedules, any of these things. They're just not in my skills, to be honest. I would be very bad at them, and therefore I just step out of the way of other people who know what they're doing. So yeah, Dravir, you asked that question about 3 years too late, but I appreciate your enthusiasm. Monkey-tastic, thank you very much for your donation. And this question: I recently went down to London, and it was the most nervous time of my life. Visiting the capital for the first time, riding the subway. It's called the Tube. It's called the Tube, Monkey. Or no, the Underground. What's the Tube? Who has the Tube? Isn't it also called the Tube? What is this, some sort of tube? The Underground. What was the last time your heart was racing due to nerves/excitement? Maybe the Minecon Day thing that happened in Seattle. Because, like myself and Seth, other Minecraft YouTubers in the area were invited to participate in the Seattle Minecon World Earth thing, but we weren't really told what our involvement was. And then when we got there, they're like, oh, you're doing panels and things in front of the audience with a microphone on stage. Here you go. I'm pretty nervous doing public stuff like that anyway, but then you throw a bunch of curveballs and unknown, unexpected obligations like that at me. I'll get more nervous. So that was pretty nerve-wracking. Certainly buying the Corolla, shopping for, contacting people, meeting people to buy the Corolla. Oh, that's a place. That was pretty nerve-wracking. I don't know if my heart was racing or anything like that. And yes, I'll agree that cities in general, big cities, ooh, public transportation definitely. Airplanes I'm mostly okay with, but like public transportation, ooh, buses. I've never taken a subway or an L. I've taken a commuter train in and out of Chicago, but not a big fan of buses. I've had some bad bus experiences. Make me nervous. So yeah, a lot of that stuff, I guess. I'm trying to think of any other situation. No. There were I'm looking at like different places to go hiking, and one of the places a little bit further into the mountains than I normally go, but one of the places there were a lot of reports and even pictures, people taking pictures of a black bear. A very, how should I put this, friendly, aka aggressive, aka not afraid of humans, black bear that people were encountering on their hikes. And I tried to think of what I would do in that situation, because I normally hike alone or with Juno. And my heart, my fight or flight instincts and anxieties and adrenaline would probably, even if it was just in sight, would probably go on overdrive. Because you don't want to meet a bear of any kind in their neighborhood. You're the one who is out of their element, not them. And this one apparently has been sighted a lot on this particular trail. It's another one of these like lake trails. I forgot the name of it. Like a alpine lake. And like the pictures of how close it was, and just like, goo. Even the last hike I went on, there were signs posted for a cougar sighting, and then last month or something like that, somebody got attacked and killed by a cougar further south in Washington. But nature's scary. Nature's scary. Speaking of scary nature, it's getting dark. Let's go to sleep. And awakeness. Ooh, Did it. I realized I made this one 4 tall instead of 3. Ooh, look at this. Alright, this is the last question. Hopefully Tiltify fixes the donations before the next time, or else I'm not going to have anything to talk about. Hey, Wolfie, come up here, but don't touch this cactus. This is going to be an interesting title, thumbnail. People will be very confused. The whole thing collapses. Ooh, nice. Pictures! Got him! Alright, I'm gonna break this. Just Wolfie's gonna stand up and face right into it. Face right into it! Yep. So yeah, this last question from Torrin Dogflight. What are your thoughts? Why am I not moving? What are your thoughts on the theory of panspermia? Panspermia? Let's call it panspermia. This is the theory that life on Earth evolved from microorganisms, tiny little organisms, that came from outer space, brought here by comets, meteors, etc. Recent dubious news about octopi, being a result of panspermia, made me curious of your thoughts on this. Yeah, I read that too, that since octopus are, and squid, what's the species, genus, nomenclature for them? They're so wildly different than anything else, other animals on Earth, that somebody published somewhere that scientists, just lumping in everybody under the same headline, scientists say octopus came from another planet because they're very intelligent. They've got these, like, no bones except for their beak, and they have 8 limbs and suckers and whatever. They must have come from another planet, but that's since been like, no, nobody said that. Who's saying this? Nobody who has their worth of zoological knowledge says these things. We know where octopi came from on the branch. They did diverge. Their evolutionary branch did diverge very far back in history. Like, we as humans have more in common with an ostrich than we do an octopus by millions and millions of years of evolution. But the theory that all life, like, just say from the get-go, came from elsewhere, I don't think it holds enough water for me. Because when life began here, the rest of the solar system was similarly chaotic, molten worlds. Careful, Wolfie. Okay. There was nowhere else in the solar system, not Venus, not Mars, not anywhere that could have I said careful, Wolfie. That could have spawned life prior, at least to my understanding and what I've read and heard about it, prior to when the Earth did. Also, you don't need to explain the life on Earth based on extraterrestrial sprinklings of organics. Just the elements, the atoms, the molecules that existed not only on Earth, but everywhere in the solar system, given the right amount of time and the right environment, specifically the right environment of a cooling Earth, just spontaneously end up like, it just seems like that's the way molecules, proteins, carbon molecules, they want to eventually become biological, what's the word I'm looking for? Organic, that's the word. They want to turn to organic molecules. It doesn't need some sort of, a lot of people say, oh, maybe it was like a lightning strike or something hit this primordial goo just right. And maybe, I don't know. But you don't even need that. You don't need to invoke this extraterrestrial asteroid impact to have life start on Earth. And it's often the most rational, simplest explanation like that, which is the case, as opposed to needing to invoke some extrasolar Prometheus intelligent being planting seeds or anything like that. So yeah, it's interesting, and certainly not impossible. If we've shown anything, it's that there are complex organisms that can survive in the frozen vacuum of space, and then be reanimated and thrive once rethawed and brought back into a suitable environment. And that's not to say that could be how life starts on another planet, moon, extrasolar, whatever. But here on Earth, I don't think you need to. You don't need that. That doesn't need to be the case. And every other bit of evidence points to the contrary, that it is just on Earth. I don't know, maybe you ever think about this? Perhaps the early life on Earth, like say with the dinosaur impact, that's not even early life, that's recent life. The dinosaur killing asteroid, I'm sure spewed up materials. It hit in the ocean, so little cellular doohickeys perhaps got spewed out into the solar system. Where did those end up? Perhaps well, not we as in us, but Earth. Perhaps there are organisms on Earth that ended up floating over to Europa and getting, somehow underneath the ice. And if we do find life, it'll share a common strain with that on Earth. Who knows? Unlikely, but possible. So yeah, it's certainly interesting. It's certainly a nice thought experiment. But, and obviously we have proof. We have rocks on Earth from Mars that we know for a fact are from Mars, based on the signatures, the composition. Same thing, moon. We had moon rocks here before we ever set foot on the moon. Where? Here. So there certainly is an exchange of matter between planets and astronomical bodies. Dang, Wolfie is just taking all kinds of damage today. Need to find more pigs. That one was my fault. Yeah, I know. So yeah, it's interesting. Little thingies like that are always interesting to think about. If you have Netflix, sorry, sort of a segue, talking about the moon. If you have Netflix, there's a documentary on there called The Last Man on the Moon. That's all about Gene Cernan, who was the last man on the moon. Recently passed away, but it's a really good documentary. Watched it the other night. Certainly if you are a fan of or have followed the Apollo missions, spaceflight, the astronauts involved, not necessarily anything new you might learn from that, but it's pretty neat to have just a dedicated, I don't know, it's like 90 minutes or so that goes over the history of just one person, one astronaut. It also features Charlie Duke. No, not Charlie Duke. Who recently passed? Shoot. Why have I forgotten his name? The one who turned into an artist recently passed away. Balls. I feel like a horrible human being now. Oh, God. Hold on. Alan Bean. Alan Bean. I don't know why I forgot that. Which was sucky, sad news. It's kind of one of... Well, I mean, I'd want to meet any of them, but one of the ones that I would have liked to have haven't met any Moonwalker, and there aren't that many left. I think there's only 3 left. I think Charlie Duke is still alive, and Buzz Aldrin, and Schmidt is still alive. Maybe there's another one, 4. Of like of the 12 Moonwalkers. Let's end this on a depressing note, everybody. Way to go, Kurt. Good job. Keep up the good work. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, if you've been waiting to donate, I appreciate your patience. To donate to Direct Relief. I'll certainly tweet or make note of in the next episode or whenever they're able to fix the donation issue. Seems to just be a problem right now with our campaign, as I've gotten messages from other Farlanders saying they were able to give to other Tiltify campaigns, so not sure what's up with that. Might be something between Tiltify and Direct Relief. Who knows? But I appreciate your patience. Certainly feel free to keep checking. And that might pop up. Be available again. And I appreciate all the generosity to Direct Relief on behalf of Farlands or Bust here. Let's see. Beds. Up, 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 up. Beep, 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 up, 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 up. It's the making beds song right there. It's more of a drum line than a song, but you get the point. You get the point. Boop. Indeed. Thank you so much for watching this episode 691 of Far Lines or Bust. Hope you're having a good week here. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. My name is Kurt.